Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture we are going to start looking into security misconfiguration vulnerability in our API. So what is security misconfiguration vulnerability? Now this kind of vulnerability arises in our APIs where there are improper or insecure configuration of the API and its components, which can make the API vulnerable to attacks. Now this kind of vulnerability has a very wide spectrum because there could be a wide range of configuration issues in your application related to your operating system, how you have structured your code, your logging, permissions, and everything. But in general, attackers target unpatched flaws, common endpoints, and services with insecure default configuration, or unprotected files and directories to gain unauthorized access somehow to these resources or gather system information. Security misconfigurations can occur at any level of the API stack, from the network level to application level. Now, these misconfigurations can be exploited by automated tools that detect and exploit vulnerabilities, such as unnecessary services or legacy options. Misconfigurations not only expose sensitive user data but also reveal system details, sometimes that can lead to a full server compromise. Now, some of the examples of security misconfigurations are insecure logging. So, for example, using insecure default configurations of your logging packages or modules that you import in your application. Now, these logging utilities may allow for arbitrary code execution that can result in unauthorized access to the system. There could be improper permissions, improperly configured permissions on cloud services, or APIs can allow unauthorized access to sensitive data or functionality. Now using or running out now running outdated or unpatched softwares or operating system can leave the API vulnerable to known security vulnerabilities, unnecessary features if you enable them. If you enable them like HTTP verbs, so for example in your API if you need put or post requests, make sure you enable just these request headers at these for the API endpoint and not the other ones that are not required by your API endpoint, because these can provide attackers with additional attack vectors. One of the very important thing to implement in your application is properly implementing TLS or transport layer security, lack of which can expose sensitive data to interception and unauthorized access, because in this case your traffic on the network is unencrypted and anyone can intercept it and can easily make sense of the data traveling to and from to your application endpoints. Now, missing security headers can leave the API exposed to various attacks, including cross-site scripting or XSS and cross-site request forgery, also known as CSRF. So make sure that you have all the proper security headers included in your API responses. Now, in our sample application, we will look at the first example that we mentioned here, which is insecure logging, and how we can fix it. So let's go to our code in next lecture and have a look at it. That's all for this one. Thank you.